Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a topic that is generating an intense, honestly, almost feverish debate all across the globe. We're talking about artificial intelligence. But, not just as a chatbot or a coding assistant. We're exploring AI's actual capability to make completely novel scientific discoveries. So are we looking at a new co-author here or an outright human replacement? Let's dive in. Okay, let's dive into this with a pretty wild fact. The 2024 Nobel Prizes for Physics and Chemistry, they were both won for AI-related science. I mean, just think about that paradigm shift for a second. Startups are literally attempting right now to create what they call the AI scientist. That's a system that will one day fully automate the scientific method itself. We aren't just talking about AI speeding up calculations anymore. We're talking about AI independently identifying open problems, designing experiments, running them, and then publishing the results entirely on its own. It's huge.
Will AI fully automate scientific discovery, or will we always need human scientists? That is the core existential question of this explainer. And to really make sense of this massive debate, we're going to break the data down through three distinct impartial lenses: the pragmatist, the evolutionist, and the fatalist.
Let's start things off with the pragmatist view. There is a massive inefficiency in human academia right now. Get this, roughly 80% of academic citations go to just the top 20% of published papers. So, what does it actually mean for science? Well, it means there's a vast, ever-growing graveyard of undiscovered public knowledge just sitting out there. Humans are publishing constantly, but most of it is completely ignored. Why? Because human academics simply do not have the time, or the cognitive bandwidth, really, to read every single thing that gets published.
Narrow human academics versus AI interdisciplinary mapping. See, human academics are naturally siloed by our own specific jargon. We're trained to read very narrowly within our own specific fields, right? But AI? AI acts like the ultimate interdisciplinary scholar, holding a PhD in literally every single discipline at once. It easily maps terminology across physics, biology, chemistry, you name it. It sees straight through all that dense jargon and connects the dots across fields that normally never ever communicate with one another.
And this brilliantly illustrates a concept proven 40 years ago by a physicist named Don Swanson. So step one, Swanson is seeking a solution to Raynaud's syndrome. That's a condition where your fingertips go numb. Step two, he takes completely separate, unlinked pieces of medical literature. He's a physicist, not a biologist, but he looks at these papers no one else is combining. Step three, he successfully proposes plausible biological hypotheses. Breakthrough solutions are often just a combination of uncombined literature. If a human can do that manually, imagine AI doing it on a scale we simply can't fathom.
AI opens the space of possibility for scientific research to near infinity. This naturally brings us to the evolutionist perspective. Here, AI doesn't just read old papers. It opens up the space of possibility for research to near infinity. Think about systems like AlphaFold. That system predicted complex protein structures to help create drugs to treat diseases, proving that AI can work at scales and speeds way beyond human capacity. When you add quantum computing to the mix, that possibility space becomes exponentially larger, allowing us to simulate molecular interactions in seconds rather than decades.
But is AI actually creating novel science, or is it just complex pattern matching? This leads to a really fundamental philosophical debate. When an AI actually finds a solution, is it experiencing a spark of genius, or is it just executing code? What does it actually mean to be creative and discover something genuinely new in the universe?
Let's look back to the year 2016. AlphaGo plays World Go champion Lee Sedol in Seoul. Now, match day 2. The AI executes move 37. It was profoundly weird and totally novel. Experts actually laughed at first. They thought the machine was glitching or making a mistake, but it wasn't. It was an alien, superhuman move. In the years following, the entire path of human Go playing is changed forever. That was not just pattern matching, it was the introduction of a completely novel strategy.
Combinatorial creativity. This is taking familiar things and putting them together in unfamiliar ways. We really shouldn't mystify creativity so much. Whether we're talking about complex science or fine art, creativity is largely just combinatorial creativity. What we romantically call a spark of genius is often just sociology. The right combination of ideas hitting the right audience at exactly the right time. And combinatorial creativity is exactly the kind of process that an AI can absolutely brute force at a massive scale.
The Turing test. a substrate-neutral test between carbon and silicon intelligences. If AI can brute force creativity, we kind of have to rethink how we judge intelligence altogether. Instead of just making a machine pretend to be human, we should look at it as a substrate-neutral test. Whether intelligence is based on carbon, like us, or silicon, like AI, it really shouldn't matter. If an AI acts creatively and produces novel science, we shouldn't be prejudiced against it just because it's a machine. We might actually need to expand our definition of the intelligence community.
Human biological limits versus AI unrestricted capabilities. The contrast here is incredibly stark. Humans have strict biological limits. We can only hold about 7 digits in our short-term memory at once, and we inevitably get fatigued. AI, on the other hand, has unrestricted capabilities to optimize and navigate massive creative spaces without ever needing a coffee break. In fact, to pass a traditional Turing test, AI often has to engage in artificial stupidity, intentionally dumbing itself down to match our biological limits so it seems more realistically human. How crazy is that?
And the way AI learns is escalating exponentially. First, AI trains on human data. But soon, step 2, AI realizes human biased data is actually useless. It's holding it back. So step 3, AI learns from zero knowledge via self-play. It begins original experimentation. And finally, step 4, AI achieves alien superhuman performance. It completely moves past our biased biological limits to discover ways of optimizing that we simply cannot even comprehend.
This rapid escalation brings us to the narrative climax, the fatalist view, and the existential threats. Number 1, AI improves exponentially while humans stagnate. Number 2, every single human job will be replaced. And number 3, humans will have nothing left to contribute to the world. Some experts argue that because AI improves so fast while we biologically stagnate, the capability gap is widening too fast for us to ever catch up. Under this fatalist viewpoint, once we reach true superintelligence, human beings will literally have nothing left to contribute, no exceptions.
Humanity must raise our game and invent new games where we hold a competitive advantage. Obviously, not everyone accepts that dark fate. The counterargument is that humanity must not simply roll over. Instead, we have to use AI as a massive wake-up call to raise our game. It's about mutual co-evolution. If AI can master any game we invent, chess, Go, driving, then it is up to us to invent entirely new games. We need to build new domains of thought where we still hold a competitive advantage and feed this challenge right into our education systems from a very young age.
The AI control problem. What is humanity's endgame when we are no longer around to invent the games? Which leaves us with a final, stark provocation. What is our endgame when we are creating super intelligent beings that might eventually surpass our ability to even invent those new games? Are we truly co-evolving, or are we simply building our replacements?